Now, as the delicate ceasefire in the Middle East hangs in the balance, many tankers are still not passing through Hormuz. If tankers avoid the strait, shipping companies, ship owners, and refiners may fail to deliver cargo. Normally, they would be legally responsible for breaking their contract. But if they can't complete the journey because of something beyond their control, like war, they can use force majeure. And this is a legal clause that protects them from being blamed when extreme events prevent them from doing what they promised. Now, for more, we can speak with Baldev Bhinder, Managing Director at law firm Blackstone and Gold. Great to get your insight into this, Baldev, because it's going to affect so many different industries as well as companies. What happens then with this force majeure? Has it come into force? How is it playing out?
I think it's an interesting question because when you talk about force majeure, in the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we've seen force majeure notices flying up and down within the oil business. And now you're going to have the invariable question about whether a ceasefire will lift the force majeure. And I think that's asking the wrong question. It's not really a question of whether the ceasefire has happened or not. I think it's a question of whether you've been prevented. And that is the litmus test of a force majeure claim. Have you been prevented from performing your obligation? The notion of being prevented, I think you have to put it in the context of lifting oil cargo. It is not as simple as going to a petrol station and pumping some petrol in. There's a whole logistical bottleneck that has to be involved in lifting cargo. You have to nominate a ship. The ship takes time to arrive at the berth. There might be berthing issues. There are limited number of berths. The suppliers, they've got curtailment issues, so they've curtailed their production. They might not have enough to allocate within X number of buyers. So it's a huge mess, and it's not something that's going to go away simply because the word ceasefire is used.
Yeah, it seems incredibly complicated and so many different sort of factors and components to it. But this war has been going on for 5 weeks now. How has force majeure been used or been used by people that have been affected by it?
Loosely, unfortunately. I think what's happened is that everyone's claiming force majeure. You've got a whole chain of cargo buyers within a chain. And so naturally the person in the middle is going to claim my supplier can't perform, all the way down to the Middle East supplier. The person in the middle of the chain, though, he or she, the company might be buying origin agnostic cargo. So it's no longer a question of I've been prevented from Middle East. We return back to the basics. Have you been prevented? And that turns on also whether you must get cargo from the Middle East, or could you get it from America? Could you get it from West Africa? Each party's needs and obligations are quite different from another in the chain.
And will there be a tendency then for everyone to fight for who's not at blame, or as this sort of plays out? Because it's going to, the dollar signs that we're talking about are being quite significant.
Correct. It's astronomical, really. And I think naturally there is a false comfort when it comes to force majeure to just lift your hands up and say, there's been a force majeure, my suppliers declared force majeure, and so I'm declaring it onto you. But the question that will be asked in a court of law or in arbitration would be, what else could you have done? Could you have bought it from somewhere else? Did you only have to get Middle East grade crude? And once again, I return back to the statement that each person's needs are different. A trader in the middle is different from a refiner is different from a petrochemical refiner. Each party's got different obligations.
Yeah, and each party will have their own lawyers as well fighting it out. So thanks very much for helping us put that into context. Baldev Bhinder there, Managing Director at law firm Blackstone and Gold.